in the women's women's championship, rather, in St. Louis. Her brother, National Master Derek Wu, and Kennett Master and soon-to-be Master, I'm sure, Shriram Krishna Kumar, and they all have 2 points. Krishna Kumar is not playing this round, and actually you can see, I'm going to bring up the pairings here. We have International Master Ray Kaufman at 1.5 points and playing Jason Liang. So we've got some heavy hitters here, and we're going to try to make some sense of these games over the course of the next couple of hours. And let's start at the top. Rochelle Wu versus Jason Liang. I'll go to the beginning of the game and see if I can understand it. Although these queen pawn openings, I might need Elliot Winslow or somebody else out there in the stands to help us. Peanut Gallery. Okay, so we have a Queen's Gambit, exchange variation, and again, this just looks like standard moves to me. Not booked up here on this, but on the other hand, this is all looking very logical. And White's bringing his pieces towards the center, and Black is centralizing. The theme here, I guess, is White is going to try to play for e4, and Black is also massing some pieces over on the king side as well. Toying with the idea of playing bishop h3 or knight h3 maybe. And f4, and that's a critical looking move here. Will the knight go back or will it go forward? Okay, so if knight e4, I guess White is just going on his way to win a pawn there with bishop takes knight, pawn takes, knight takes pawn, because if knight takes knight, bishop takes queen, rook takes knight, queen takes rook, and then bishop takes d8. So Black plays knight e6, but White's gotten a crucial couple of moves there to bring along the attack, and she's thinking about how to do that. She plays knight g3, and that's to play knight h5 maybe, or knight f5. Black withdraws the bishop to f8, and White plays pawn f5. So let's see. If knight h5, I suppose the Black bishop could come back to e7, and then no harm done. There's also the possibility, well, I guess g5 is impossible. So knight h5, bishop e7. There's ways of continuing the attack there. Maybe bishop f6, g4, leaving the knight on h5. It's a little dangerous for Black. But f5, okay. And Black has 2 squares for the knight, g5 or c7. I reckon that g5, or I imagine that g5 would be the square to go to. It covers the king and prepares to jump back into e4 possibly, but there might be a reason that's not readily apparent to me why Jason is not playing that move. FIDE Master Jason. And that move is played. Okay, so let's go now to board 2. This is Raymond Kaufman versus Derek Wu, and this is Rochelle's brother, Derek. And I think they're both 13-year-olds, master chess players. Derek is playing the experienced international master Ray Kaufman, who has 1.5 points. He drew a game in the previous round with John Canessa, strong expert. So we're getting Lopez, and white's playing the Slopez with d3 instead of the rook e1 and the old lines. Now they're the old lines. Both players developing in this typical way here. Maneuvering, white finally plays d4, black decides to take and withdraw the knight, and white closes off the center. Black goes back there. I guess it's also possible to play knight b4, and if bishop b1, a5, providing a retreat for the knight at a6, where it can come back to c5. This is another regrouping of black's forces here. So far, this all looks reasonable. White has a slight space advantage and a little bit of a pull here. Let's go to board 3, and this is John Canessa playing Eiko Hidari, and this game got heated up right from the start with the Ponziani opening. Elliot, you've got to tell me which game you're talking about, and then because I jump back and forth, and I'm not sure if G5. Okay, I think I know which game. That was the Rochelle Wu game. Okay, Ponziani opening, D5. Queen a4. This is actually in the book, so I'm not sure if black's responses are the, yeah, queen d5, knight c6, pawn takes, bishop c4. Black's losing a little time with the queen, and that is a very strong looking move. If queen takes f4, bishop f7 check. I think black has gone way wrong in this opening already, and white's coming out with moves like that with tempo on the queen. This is not looking good. White decides to eliminate the pawn at d3 right away. If queen d3, queen c6 check, and queen a8. Black tries to castle, but now white hits black with this move. And maybe that's the point of playing bishop takes d3. It looked like it was losing some time, but now white has this. The question is, does it work? If queen takes bishop, queen c6 check, and the problem for black is he'd like to just move the king or interpose and then take on f4, but the bishop at c8 will be hanging. So it looks to me like white gets away here after queen f5, queen c6 check, followed by queen a8. I'm not finding anything convincing there for black at all. Black has gotten into serious trouble in this opening. Let's try to just find out where exactly. D5, I mean, this is a good example. D5 is a move that is probably a very good move. I think white plays not only queen a4, but bishop b5 here. So Elliot Winslow is saying take. But if black doesn't know this opening, just play a move like knight f6 and develop the bishop, the f bishop. d5 is going to be some theoretical line here that black needs to be cognizant of if he wants to. So that shot. Now Elliot is saying queen takes f5, queen c6, king d8. That runs into bishop takes c7 mate, Elliot. Well, that, okay. that was worth me coming in the whole evening. Elliot Winslow overlooks a mate and one from home, and I'm here pointing that out to him, and he says, oops. Okay. All right. Black's in trouble after this. Let's move on to Shakith Sivakumar, who is rated a very strong 2198. So knocking on Master's door against Eric Lee, who is at 12 years old is already an experienced chess master with a 2350 rating. And let's see how this game started out at the beginning. It looks like to me it's another one of these London systems, very popular against the queen pawn with d4. And Eric just plays simple chess and already has an equal game here. White's exchanging Black's bishop outside the pawn structure at f5 already, and then this exchange for the white bishop on d3 already means that Black is perfectly even, equal game here. And there's already the pawn minority attack that we saw in a game from the previous round with a5 and b5. And White seems to just be kind of going into this same thing here. And then the white bishop is not doing much on d4. It's acting as sort of a big pawn, as they'd say. And Black is expanding here. And then White locks it up, which is probably the right strategy here. You don't want Black to be able to play b5 and b4 or somehow undermine the structure. White is rigidly placed there, but Black needs to get somewhere, probably would want to play f6. And that's a bit of a long way off, but Black is marginally better here. And with the better bishop, of course, the better bishop, and the pawn's chain is favoring him. Of course, you don't want to underestimate White being able to play something like f4 and f5. So it's still early times. This is expert versus the next game. All the next games that we're going to see here: Aaron Dixit versus Arul Viswanathan. These are all games between strong experts and strong A players. And Arul Viswanathan is a high A player, and Aaron Dixit is an expert. And that's pretty much the story for the rest of the boards 5 through 10. Now, no masters, I think, are playing on these boards, unless you count Michael Walter, who has been a master and is certainly playing like one recently. Okay, so in this game, let's see what's going on here. Let's go back to the beginning. Boom. And we have another queen pawn game, very popular in this tournament. I've noticed, like every game is a queen pawn game, just about. Black has no problems here whatsoever. Very, very slow system for White. And already Black has sort of taken over the initiative a little bit here. And this is a very aggressive move. It's not a move that I would have played. I probably would have tried to develop my queen's bishop first, maybe by playing b5 or bishop d7. g5 is super aggressive. You could, Black could even think of playing king h8 and then g5 to back it up with a rook at g8. So some other move like queen e7 or bishop d7 would have been more normal here. G5 is an interesting idea, though, and it elicits this response, which doesn't turn out well for white, I don't think. So again, going along with what I was saying, maybe white should think about playing rook c1 here, or and developing and seeing where this g5 move goes. Black would like to get the queen to h4. I mean, maybe it's right for white to respond here, but this doesn't. This just turns out to white's hoping to exploit the weak king side, but Black continues along with his idea. And if we look at this kind of objectively, white doesn't have anything going here on the king side. White can take on g4, Black will take on b2, or play knight e4 and queen h4. So actually, that's the idea here for Black. White, of course, tries to exchange queens. First, the bishop takes bishop. And we're beginning to, both players have a weak, sort of weakened positions. Here it looks like Black might have played queen e7, but then queen d4. So this, I think both players sort of need a queenless game here to proceed. Otherwise, somebody's going to get knocked out really fast. Knight e4, and on the c3 pawn. So Black is behind in development, but maintaining an initiative that sort of started with this g5 move and having the sort of the superior position out of the opening through white. And he's been forcing the play, and this is very good play by Arul Viswanathan. He's outranks by almost 100 points, but he's definitely playing, trying to take it to the stronger player, and that's how you're supposed to play chess. Okay, so we have this game here. This is the same sort of rating difference here. White is an expert and Black is a strong A player. And just going by ratings. So we're getting yet another queen-pawn game. This one, though, an h3. I think I've seen this, and this is a very new idea, to play g4, and this is very interesting move, h6 in response. I'm not sure about that. I mean, maybe. If I was Black, I would strike in the center with a move like c5. I'm not sure that h6 is... I can see White's playing h3, and so, okay. So White's playing, again, this kind of London system, this time with c4, or a Queen's Gambit, queen pawn. The Black pawn is not looking correct on h6 here, and Black is essentially sort of a move behind, and possibly White shouldn't be taking on d5 here. Rook c1 makes sense, trying to target c7 straight away. I like rook c1. And I suppose White played h3, toying with the idea of playing g4, and when Black plays h6, White then thinks that this exchange has been good for him and stops there. Let's see, White plays... Yeah, taking on d5 looks a little premature to me. And Black, this is a good response, which hits the bishop on f4, and now Black can do this. And I think Black is doing okay here. Black is doing okay here, in very typical kind of position. Yeah, Black is doing more than okay if this works. Taking on g3 will be winning for Black positionally. So White feels compelled to sacrifice his knight for 2 pawns. And in order to avoid getting his structure destroyed, plays rook d3. Now black could actually think about playing knight g3 here. And if rook d8, knight e2 check, and bishop d8, with a knight and a bishop and a rook for a queen. That would probably be winning for black. It's possible the knight at e2 could get trapped, but I don't see quite yet a way to win it. Let's see, knight g3, rook d8, knight e2 check, king h2, I guess. Otherwise, you're going to lose the king. If king h1, knight g3 check. So king h2. I think black should be winning that. Okay, it's an interesting line. Yeah, and here again, after knight takes e6, black could play knight takes c3, knight takes d8, knight takes e2 check, and then rook takes d8, and or knight takes g3 followed by rook d8 with a winning material advantage. So knight e6 just does not work, and black gives white maybe a slight chance by taking here. Elliot, thanks for pointing out. Yeah, queen c4 would pick it off in that other variation, but not in this one. Rook d3, and black does it. Knight g3. Okay. So we're going to find out if that's true, Elliot, or not. If rook takes d8, well, obviously white has to take the queen now. So black has come into this. I'm not sure if it was necessary. Black could also maybe play queen e8 here. But then rook d7. Yeah, okay. Black's just going for the queen, for all of the pieces versus the queen. All right, Michael Walder versus Felix G, and this is another expert versus A player. Or in the case of Michael Walder's case, he's stronger than it has an expert rating now, but goes back and forth.
Number 9 is finished. Do you guys?
I haven't even gotten to that game, but sure, if they want, yeah, let them.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're happy. We're happy to have. We're happy to have anybody come in that wants to come in. We have an open door policy.
Oh.
You can interrupt me anytime you want.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want Ashley or Ashley was here? Was she?
No, I don't think Ashley's been in here to talk to me. Whatever you're in charge out there, and invite whoever you want in. That was Judith Starry. Game 9 has finished. This game here between Ashley Pang, expert Ashley Pang, women's candidate master versus Andrew.
Okay,
Hi.
Ashley's here.
Hi, Ashley. I'm Paul.
So Paul Whitehead, he's FIDE master Paul Whitehead.
Nice to meet you. You have to hold that and talk into it like you're like you're on TV, because you actually kind of are. That's us over there right now. But your game was on a DGT board, so we can look at that. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Fremont, California.
Okay, so you live in the neighborhood.
And which grade are you in?
7.
7th. And who's your coach?
Coach Omar.
Coach Omar.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to Weibel?
No, I'm going to Hopkins.
Hopkins. But you went to Weibel.
No, I went to Chadbourne.
Chadbourne. Okay.
Okay, and these are chess training camps.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Fremont, there's two big schools: the Weibel School and the Mission San Jose School.
I've heard of the Weibel School, but not the
And
others.
well, they are really two really good schools, and they frequently send players to nationals. Have you been to nationals? I get no, no, one, not one. Wow.
I've
so-
heard your name though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't get your FIDE cadet master, right? Title for nothing, right?
Yeah.
Where did you get that title?
I got it in the North American championship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where was that?
In Canada.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was like half a year ago, right?
No, that was 3 years ago.
3. Yeah. Okay.
Wow, so you're
I'm
an
getting
old-timer at chess. Somebody, Omegamania is saying hi to you, Judah.
Hi. I don't remember who that is,
Yeah.
but Elliot is here keeping you company.
Right,
I see
Elliot's
that.
definitely keeping, which is great
I know
because actually
he's.
we've been having a little bit of an argument. He's at home with his chess set,
Yeah.
and he overlooked a mate in one, which I saw,
Oh.
and I was like, how
And
great
he-
am I?
Yeah, he's an international master, and he should have played today, but he's under the weather. So.
Oh, it's Phil
so
Wharton.
it is,
It's Phil Wharton.
Oh, Phil.
One of your teachers.
Nice.
Right.
Hi. Okay,
So Ashley, you can show us the
Oh,
game with the mouse
okay.
if you want. There's just front and back arrows, and then you have to just tell us
and
what
keep in
happened.
mind that some of the players may not know, cannot calculate so deeply as you can probably. Okay, but
So
I keep it simple.
yeah,
but,
keep it
you know.
simple.
So I played the Smith Mora because I felt like playing
Right,
it.
I'm always scared of the Smith Mora too. When people play it against me, I'm always like, oh no, I got to decline the gambit because I don't know it. Right.
And then he just took it,
Right.
so I just played it. And then here I felt like the d6 pawn was just weak now.
Right.
So I just started just
Piling up on it.
yeah.
Okay.
And then so he just played normally, I guess.
Right.
And then
Right.
here I think that's what you're supposed to
Yeah,
do.
I think you're right. I mean, this looks like positions that I've had with black, and then I've gotten beaten really badly.
Oh.
So I try to avoid this when I'm black because white always seems to get these really strong attacks. So
Yeah.
now what?
And then I just started piling up on
Right.
the d6 pawn. And then I guess bishop d7
Might be a mistake, huh?
Yeah,
Maybe
but-
a queen. What should black play there?
I think
You
Maybe
can't make the move, but
pass.
you can tell us, and then we can figure it out for ourselves, or try
maybe
to.
just castle or
And if e5 though, what happens
Well-
if white plays e5 then?
e5. I think I would just play knight b5 and then or bishop g5. I don't know. I was
Well,
just
I'm thinking white. You just played rook d1, right? So
Yeah.
you're threatening pawn to e5.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
So-
wondering what black should do here. I guess queen is queen c7 possible, and if knight
Yeah.
b5, queen b8, and then if bishop f4,
And then
e5,
e5. Yeah.
something like that. So maybe queen c7 is possible.
Yeah.
But white still, yeah, okay.
And then I feel like queen b8 was the only move.
Yeah, it is the only move I think.
But
But now bishop f4. Is that
I
what
felt
you
like
played?
if I went bishop. Oh yeah, I did go bishop. And then e5.
Right, and now you can go to g5, right, and
Yeah.
try to
And then
This looks tough for black.
yeah.
But I could be wrong. Sometimes I'm not sure. So what happens
And then
now?
I just went back.
Right.
And
now you, okay,
then
right. You trying to play knight to d4,
yeah.
right? But black, this looks like it should work out well for white somehow.
Yeah. So I just got out of the game.
Sidestep, right?
And then he takes it.
Just insisting
And
to
then
play this.
I guess he wants the outpost here, but then I could just go back. So
Right.
Oh,
Oh, that's okay. You can go
oh, okay.
find us up there. Yeah.
and then
I mean, black's played with ideas, though.
so I just tried to get him out,
Yeah, that's
and then he no, he went back, and then like I saw here, like I feel like I can get like the king open a little bit. So
Sure.
then, so I just started trading. So I thought if I took this one first, then he would take that, and then he would take with the rook, or the bishop. Like, so I just took this knight first, and then he has to take with that one.
I guess if he wants to say, but this is getting very good for white, I think.
And then I just took that one out.
What do you think about that? Is that right?
I don't know, but I feel like maybe if I just kept this here and the pawn here, like it'd be better for white.
This is, yeah. Well, that's true, but look at like if you could put your knight on f5 or d5, right?
Yeah,
that
I
would
was
be
like
incredible.
thinking about that, but then like the knight can just come back.
You may have an exchange sacrifice too,
Oh,
like
yeah.
with rook d4 at some point. If you can tie, this position looks like a very, like this is a position where you could think about maybe playing something like queen h3 or f4 maybe to try to get some influence in there, sacrifice another pawn, or put the bishop on d5 first, and then kind of
Queen b3.
and then try to think about what to do after that. I don't know. I'm just throwing some ideas out. But bishop e6 might work too. If you can make it, if you can somehow win that e6 pawn or get at it.
Yeah, I tried to like win it, but the queen just like came. So I just like tried to like
Right.
try to get it.
Now f4.
And then I
maybe?
went f4.
Yeah.
And then
I was thinking about this.
And then he goes here.
That looks like a good move.
Yeah, and then I didn't really understand how I could do that anymore. So, I mean, I was down a pawn right now, but I guess his pawns are very weak here.
They can be targets, sure. You
Yeah.
could play rook f1 and f5 try to play f5. I don't know. What did you play?
I just like went there,
Okay.
and then he just had a perpetual check. But I mean, like, I didn't have to accept it, but I feel like
It's dangerous for you.
yeah,
I mean,
right now
yeah.
because the king is like on the rooks.
And sometimes you just get a sense of a position. You may have a good position, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's even better, but you get the sense that I better not play today. You know, it's like feeling like maybe it's Friday the 13th or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I'm hungry or I'm not hungry or to play or something like that.
Yeah.
So this looks like they used to call this a grandmaster draw.
Oh.
So maybe this.
Like, I was just thinking, at first I just wanted to do this to gain time, but like after this I was like, I mean, my position isn't that good anymore.
Well, you could still try to double up rooks on the c file, or you know, try to find some moves and sort of put the ball back in his court, right?
Yeah.
Because the queen is stuck now on d7,
Like,
but it's hard for you to take advantage. Yeah, and you are a pawn down, so
yeah.
I don't know. It seems you might want to take another look at bishop takes e6, and just as a possibility.
Yeah, I think that might have been like.
Because I think you had a really strong game. I think you did.
Mm-hmm.
But these positions are, and Elliot is saying knight g3 instead of taking on e6. Yeah.
Okay. So
Back
knight
here.
g3.
Right. So again, we're talking just like I was talking about
Yeah.
playing, keeping the opposite colored bishop for attack. If he ever trades this knight for that bishop, you'll be very happy, right?
Because then that's just bad.
Right.
And the knight could come here.
Right. So then you can, you know, he can move in, but he can be expelled from your dark squares. Like if he comes to f4, you can always hit him back eventually with g3.
Yeah.
And if he comes into d4, well, maybe at that point you're getting your rooks up on the third rank and your queen and your knight over there,
Yeah.
and you know, maybe you could even think about playing f4 with his knight on d4, and you know, just trying to think these kind of different ideas, because exchanging pieces is one of the crucial things to do in chess. Does it work or does it not work? You know, and which pieces should be exchanged for what? That separates, you know, the genius chess players from the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how many points do you have?
1.
You have 1 point?
Yeah.
So it's a tough tournament, though.
Yeah.
Right? So you're welcome to sit here. I'm just looking at games, or if you have something else to do, but thank you. And like I said, you're welcome to just sit here, Ashley, and while I go through some of these, you want to take a quick look at, is there any other game that's interesting to you? You want to see this top board? So this is Rochelle Wu on the top board, and she's played in the U.S. Junior Women's Championship, the U.S. Women's Championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's trying to attack here, but Black is not going to. Well, the question is, of course, is how can White break through here? And has White done the right thing over here? And I'm not so sure. This is a nice little idea, right? Bring that knight to g4, and Black's position is going to collapse like a house of cards. The other thing is Black can play queen d6 here, and the queen will magically appear at h2, and there's nothing that White can do about it. But White can play moves like f6, so it's, and then if queen h2, king f2, queen g3, well, then there's bishop g3 check, right, to consider. So what's going on here? I'm not sure.
I think he went queen h6, so.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Queen h6. Black will feel okay if the queens are off. So White is thinking. Okay, so queen... I'm looking at queen d6, but that looks, you know, a little more crazy. If f6, queen check, king f2, queen check, king e2, right? Queen check, rook f2, and then your Black is... But even then, queen takes h3. So, I don't know, maybe queen d6 is just too risky. Queen h6 is played instead. That's a safe move. There's a lot about chess I don't understand. But what do you think? What do you think?
Maybe bishop e2, like after queen h6. I don't know.
White should play bishop e2?
Like after queen h6, maybe.
Oh, what should White do here? Yeah, I feel like White hasn't gotten much here. If this unless knight f2 and knight g4 were played, so Black seems to be mounting a successful defense. Let's move on here. This is Kaufman versus Rochelle's brother, Derek, and we left it off at this position, a fairly standard Roy Lopez kind of position. White's getting a little bit of a space advantage, and also this open queenside, being able to probe weaknesses over there on the queenside. Okay, so this is hitting d6, and a6 is still hanging. White's trying to get something out of this position. And Black defends d6. Rook c1 hits the queen, and this as a counterattack on the White queen, and White is thinking. So I suppose if White white's scared that he's maybe lost a pawn. That's maybe something going on here. For if white plays queen a3, then black can play queen b6, and then if bishop to e3, black can go withdraw the queen all the way back to b8, or black could play queen b8 right away. I don't know. White's probably like, I want my pawn back, as well as having all the positional advantages that he has. Rook c7, a takes b4, and then some rook move like rook b7. White might be thinking of that. He didn't play it. Okay, so he played queen a3. All right. So black is taking a pawn on the queen side, and in that sense, white needs to get a couple of good moves in here in order to regain the pawn and then put pressure on the other pawn. So that's what white's probably trying to do. But we'll come back to that, and we're going to see this game. This was really something else. Black was on the verge of defeat here. He decides to take their check. And here's where Elliot said, what about king d8? And I was like, well, what about bishop takes c7 mate? Right. So instead, knight d7 takes and castles. Yeah, black had to lose something there. This does not look good for black, who's down the exchange and a pawn, and with no attack, with no visible attack. And that's just, white can just play queen takes bishop, which he does. And well, let's go for the exchange of queens. Black is, white's like, please exchange queens, but this is white's game to lose. Yeah. For sure. Big advantage for white. And Aiko got caught right in the opening. Let's just look through this opening, because it was kind of, this was a good example of, now black played d5. Okay, now d5 is a good move. There's no doubt about it. But if you don't know theory, you should just play something like knight f6. Instead, this is, by playing these critical lines and not knowing what you're supposed to do, you get into trouble. And that's what seemed to happen to black here. Okay, so white played queen a4, and already black is in a quandary, right? Knight e5 is threatened. He takes on e4. This must be book. And I'm not sure about queen d5 either, but e4 was threatened, and knight c6. So black has nobody but himself to blame if he doesn't know this opening. And look at that shot. Queen f4, queen c6 check. No, if queen f4, bishop f7 check, not queen c6 check. Bishop f7 check, and wins the queen at f4, right? So, boom, that was another good move. Yeah, okay. Let's move on. Did you come here with any other chess players that are playing?
No.
Just you and your mom and dad? Yeah. Cool. Do you have any big tournaments coming up, like national tournaments or invitational tournaments or anything like that?
I think I'm going to the Las Vegas Open, it's like this week.
Wow. Okay. Las Vegas. All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. My phone's going off, but I'm not going to answer it. Okay, so this is this game I was looking at, and black seemed to be doing well here. Better bishop, pawns are locked up. That kind of favored. Okay, I said better bishop, but black has to make progress somehow, and he decides that, I'm not sure if it's the right decision, but he decides that trading these bishops is a good idea, so I'll let him do it because he's playing the game. And so black has some pressure here, for sure. And white just played knight b5, and now black says, come on into d6. He doesn't mind if the white knight comes to d6, maybe he'll move the rook and then try to undermine the knight by playing f6 or something like that. Or maybe he'll even sacrifice the exchange. It's possible. Although he probably doesn't have to. That knight at d6 could become weak or just be sitting there doing nothing. But it's interesting position, nevertheless. He plays knight to d6. All right, we'll come back to that. Here is this game, which was going very well for black, I thought. White took on g4, and now instead of taking a pawn here, goes immediately brings this rook into the game, but I'm not so sure about that. Maybe knight c3, rook d7 is just too much for black to allow. That's what I would, and black is being cautious. This pawn's maybe not running away, so maybe this is the right decision. It does not want to allow a white rook on the 7th rank. c4, but white takes the opportunity, of course, to get that pawn out of harm's way, and now black can play this, and we're getting a kind of a logical. And white decides that defending here is the right choice. Let's see, is that true? It's possible to play knight c5 and continue to play this kind of more aggressive, exchanging things. Rook f2 is a kind of complacence looking to me. I'm not sure about that move. Rook d1 and rook e1 targeting. Now he plays knight c5. Okay. d5. This has all been very well played. It seems to be very well played by both sides in a way. And here we go, a knight ending. Black wants to go into a knight ending, a pawn down. What about rook takes e3? Why doesn't black play rook takes e3 here? Can you answer me that?
I think it's perfectly fine. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't think rook b3 is, you know, the end of the world. I guess the black knight will have to move, and then the both pawns will probably get lost. I mean, if white can win the b pawn and then roll up the a pawn, white will have some chance. So it's possible that rook e3, rook b3 is actually difficult for black in a way, because if the knight moves, I take the pawn.
maybe you could go b4 after.
Yeah. But he plays rook b1, and now, oh, well, that puts all the pawns on the same side of the board. So that's going to be a draw, folks. White's last chance to win is to keep this a pawn here, I think. This should be a draw, I think, without almost any problem for black. Black just has to be a little bit careful here, and he should be able to draw this without too much problem. Okay. A lucky escape for both players, maybe. Okay, here's another A player expert. Han is the expert, and Das is the A player. Das was getting much the better of it here, and white simply took there and is still a piece down. Instead of, there was another variation. Were you here when we were talking about giving up his queen? Right? So black plays knight takes bishop here, and if rook takes queen, takes there, and then takes back, and with the bishop, I guess, and then black has a rook. Black has a rook and two bishops and a knight versus a queen. So of course white goes there, and white's piece sacrifice is, oh, what happened here? Oh, okay. Just the exchange up. Yeah, well, that's good. actually maybe a natural consequence here. This could be heading for a draw, though, and the reason is because the white king goes to h2 and is perfectly secure, right? And meanwhile, there's all these light squares. If white keeps the queens on, he has a good chance to draw, I think. Anyway, if you have any ideas, tell me, because I make mistakes. I make lots of mistakes. I'm just talking and showing people what's in my brain. But it's so we can come back here a little bit. Rook f1, bishop f1, and black is faced with this, if queen c7, rook d7. So even though black's a piece up, this allows the forking of these two pieces, and then after bishop c8, white has this trick, if you can call it a trick. Black needs to take that, of course, and black is better, but white is safe, is getting some safety, and is should have lost this game earlier, I think. Okay, Michael Walter, expert versus Felix G. Is my guess, and this is an English opening. Very standard kind of stuff here. White has the idea maybe of playing f4. I kind of like this move e4 right here. It looks like it works. And white's playing a complex game with players can play on the king side, in the center, on the queen side. This is one way, I guess, for white to play this. And again, black could have taken with the pawn. And white in this position probably could have played, well, can't play f4 actually, because of ef4 and take on c3. So, okay. Rook e1, that's an interesting move. Not one that would occur to me readily, but it's a good move. Yeah. Bishop on e3 covers the weak f2 square. Black is sort of untangling his pieces. I'm not sure about that, though. That looks wrong. What about just this? I think black needs to keep this knight for the king side.
Yeah.
Right? Play a6 maybe. Knight b6 looks completely wrong here, where it's just a target for white pawns and it has no future here. This is wrong. This is definitely the first big misstep here. Is knight b6, I think. And white plays rook b1. I guess it was possible to play a4, but is white worried about, I'm not sure what white's worried about, if a4, e4, but then knight e4. So why not just a4 with the idea of playing a5? Okay, so rook c1, maybe a waste of time. Queen d2, white is not playing with the a4 idea, but with this move. That's also strong, obviously. Black gets in d5, feels like he has to, but maybe it's good. Yeah, this is a strangely played game. Bad timing by white here. This just... Because now black is playing d4, but taking on b6 doesn't do anything. Black just retakes. Black's gotten everything he wanted. White misplayed this right here, I think, with rook c1, which is unnecessary. If just a4 here, then d5 can be met by taking it and taking on d5. So black gets away here. White makes this unnecessary move, then this unnecessary move, And at that point, black has this nice d5 move, and white already under some pressure here. This is a good move, though, bishop g5, right? Getting out of the pin, and so black looks like black should be okay here. Okay, let's move on to board 8. Again, A player versus expert. This was a fairly standard sort of position arising. I'm not sure what opening it arose out of. Let's find out. It arose out of a Gyoko piano or Italian game, quiet game, another quiet opening. Black plays d5, white plays there. We get this kind of structure, a fairly typical structure. And both players are playing well here, I think. Black has an easy game out of the opening here. Black has played, and this is a very nice move, knight d4. In fact, white is played wrong because black is going to get a big advantage here, I think, no matter what happens. And this is nice for white that he got c7, however, but c4 is hanging here, right? Boom. Black's play should be rewarded. It's been correct, and this looks like a good move. And if it forces rook f1, everything is going black's way. Knight f2 check is crushing. Yeah, this is now white is playing a piece down, but this was a very well played game by black. Very well played game by black. And knight d4 was a beautiful move, and this was just incredibly thematic. Let's look again at this position. It shows you that tactics are very important, even in quiet-looking positions that don't look like there's sacrifices, right? Knight d4, that move, it looks like it's out of the blue, but it's not really out of the blue. This kind of idea is well known to stronger players, and a kind of a sacrifice that may have taken white by surprise, but and the rest of the game was just played beautifully by black. I think this is the star game of the round so far. This famous game between Ashley Pang and Andrew, I'm not sure how to pronounce Andrew's last name, Guo, ended in a draw. And then finally on board 10 we have, let's go to the, did you know that Theodore Biasis's dad is a grandmaster? From Canada, yeah. He doesn't play anymore, but he was, I think, twice Canadian champion and a very, very strong player in his day. He played in interzonal tournaments, sort of like on the rung to the World Championship match. He lives in Northern California. And so this is a Roy Lopez. And this is one of the anti-Marshall systems where black aimed against the d5 move, even though I'm not sure that black can't play d5 right there, but never does. But we're back into a regular Breyer Roy Lopez, and this is old theory. I don't know much about it. White is encouraging h6 maybe to target it later. That's usually what that bishop g5 and then back move kind of entails. And that, if black can play that without any problem, which it looks like he can, he's well developed, right? And this last white knight move took the knight out of the center, and basically black, if I can play d5, and it looks like that's a perfectly good move. White takes here, and black takes there. Probably different choices for both players, but this looks all very reasonable. Black has an easy... that's an interesting move. Okay, so White's trying for a little bit more here and keeps the rooks in the middle and avoids a trade. And maybe he's eyeing the fact that he could play bishop h6 and rook takes d7, right? And so black goes rook e7. So this is a little awkward for black. Could have maybe just played knight e5 instead. Knight takes e5. Looks more natural to do that, right? And then the knight can come to c4, d3, or start exploring. Why doesn't black just play knight takes e5 here? Got me. Anyway, rook e5, rook d4, rook d3, and it's gotten a little bit, you know, it's still a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, black is still doing fine here. Sometimes I'm always looking for the clear-cut move. It's not necessarily the right move, but always the first thing that draws my eye is the clear, you know, what's going on here. There's a threat there. I better look at it. So let's go back up to board one.
So I think I might have to go.
That's fine. I'm really glad you hung out here for a while. As long as, yeah, it's fine. We're here. It's a lazy evening kind of for me. I'm just going through the games and talking for the television, all the millions of people watching us on television. Yeah. Thanks, Ashley. And some smooth HG says bye, Ashley.
Bye. Okay.
All right. Good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you. Bye. That was Ashley Pang playing in the tournament. And we're back up to board one, and we're going to see what was going on in this game. Queen h5, black offered the exchange of queens, white refuses, and black brings the bishop out to a6, which is an odd-looking square for it. I guess the idea is to play b4 and exchange this bishop. It could be that I'm overlooking things. Does black still have the possibility of playing queen d6? That just hasn't even shown up on the radar here. And white plays, obviously, f6, finally clearing a line there. But black is completely unafraid here. b4 takes on g7, queen g7, rook a6. And white has to be careful here. So far, black is holding fine. Knight is bringing the knight into f6 here. This is the maneuver started here a while back, and this strong f6 square for the knight. Boom, and moving in quickly. White's moving in quickly. The knight needs to get evicted at some point. I think black has played a good strategic game, but tactically, white is sort of sitting in the driver's seat here now. And something has gone seriously wrong. Knight h7 check is an idea here, and then taking on g5. So what... White rook could even switch over to the queen side and infiltrate really quickly. This is dangerous. I think black was sort of being too complacent back here. Right here, looking for counterplay with queen g6. It's not clear to me what happens after f6, queen h2 check. But even here, knight f2 and knight g4 is coming. Let's here again with the queen d6 and coming into h2 looks like the right idea. Stops knight f2 right away. So this has gone white's way here with a sudden attack here. Okay. Kaufman versus Derek Wu on board 2. And we're going to go through one more quick time, and then we'll take a 5-minute break and go through the top boards again as things start to heat up here. Okay, black won a pawn on the queen side. Actually, white sacrificed a pawn on the queen side, and black is like, I'm going to hold on to my pawns here, and you're not going to get it back. And queen d8. What about queen b4? Was queen b4 a move? Why not queen b4? Why does black play queen d8? I guess if queen b4, bishop d2, and then queen a3, rook a3, the pawn at a5 is lost. I don't know. There's a lot. This is complex. It's hard to figure out exactly. If white takes twice on d6 and the b2 pawn falls, there might be something else that I'm missing here. Knight d6, queen d6, rook b2. It looks like white should be doing well there, but white falls back with bishop c2. So white's determined to play this positional thing that he started by targeting the weak pawns on the queen side, which is what the whole, and also possibly if knight d6, rook b3. So, and I see that there's a problem there. Yeah, knight d6 would fail to rook b3. So that's why the white bishop is withdrawing to c2. And okay, let's move on to the next game where John Canessa was pretty much winning this, the exchange up, offering the exchange of queens at every opportunity, which black is not wanting to do, and white should just be rolling on to victory here, a pawn up. So far, everything's going white's way here. Nothing has changed. I guess black now has a possibility of regaining a pawn by playing bishop h2 check. And if king h2, queen d6 check, followed by queen takes d4. But that, that would gain one pawn, but would lose the war anyway. That's just a further simplification that that would be to white's advantage anyway. So board 4, Eric Lee, Master Eric Lee has invited Shakith Shivakumar's knight into his position, and probably attempting to undermine that knight in the near future. But you don't want that knight to live there forever. So I'm not sure what black is doing here exactly. Sort of marking time and waiting for the axe to fall. I mean, we'll see what happens here. But this kind of play, and especially with black having 18, you can't see this at home, but black only has 18 minutes, whereas white has over an hour. So I still like black's game in a sense, but this knight on d6 has to go, and maybe black shouldn't have invited it in there in the first place, I'm beginning to think. Especially if undermining it with moves like f6 only cause black to weaken his own position. Black is probably regretting inviting the knight into d6, which he did a few moves back. All right, and what do we have here? A draw. Yeah, anytime the white king takes the pawn at g5, black is going to play king g7. So there's nothing to be done, and that's a dead drawn. What was it looking like back here? Oh yeah, this was the knight end game that I predicted was a draw. And let's see, h6, g3, king f7. Yeah, white can't play king f5 because of knight e3 check and blah, blah, blah. I guess white's gotten the most that white could get out of this. White plays e5, but this transition into a king and pawn ending is going to be a draw. White can't even make progress without giving away one of the pawns anyway, and somehow manages to win the g pawn, but it's a draw. It's drawn anyway. If king f6, king f8, king g5, king g7, black has the opposition, and that is a dead draw. All right. This game. All right. So in this game, expert versus A player Das, Rohan Das seems to have been a little bit finagled here in the sense that white has maybe some more drawing chances. Bishop should move to c4, maybe queen f2 check, king h3, and then white can try to get some drum up some play. But maybe white's going to b7 right here. White should maybe have kept his pieces more centralized after queen f6. For example, start out right now with bishop c4, something like that. Queen b7 seems to lose a vital tempo, or seems to lose a tempo. Whether it's vital or not remains to be seen, but queen b7 is clearly a loss of time. White can't take on a7 anyway. Okay, so these little brain freezes that people have are very interesting. All right, so Michael Walder plays bishop g5, attacking the rook at d8 in his game with Felix G. The rook comes to c8, and white's trying to undermine d5. Chess, I love chess. Yes, we do. I think we should ban some people on the chat. Absolutely, if that can be done. A4. So d4 is played. Okay. And right before a5 can be played, knight e4, bishop e4, knight d5. This all has a logic to it. Okay. Maybe black should play, white should think about playing bishop takes d5 before the knight comes into c3. All right. Black has played well here in this game. Michael Walder having a bit of a tough time with A player Felix G. A little hesitation from white's side, I think, was part of the problem here. Let's try this game. Okay, this game was won by black. Really nice game. And we've seen this game drawn, and now finally on our board 10 we have Shrichan Pulia, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, sorry, versus Theodore Biasis. Black was doing well in this game, and in the final minutes, well, final hour of this game, time-wise, black seems to be doing well. Even chances. And, oh, I said we were going to take a 5-minute break? Okay, 5-minute break. inaugural championship, and following the top 10 boards, masters, international masters, promising juniors, and older chess players giving it their best shot. Okay, we're going to go straight back up to, and we're at the Mechanics Institute, oldest chess club in the United States. Did I say that already? Okay. This is Rochelle Wu, women's international master Rochelle Wu, who has played in the, had a great performance in the U.S. Women's Championship this year, and is one of the strongest players of her class and in the country. And her brother is playing on board two, the deadly duo of the two of them. Terrorizing chess tournaments all over the country. All right, so let's see what happens in this game. What happened in this game? Knight g4, rook a8, white knight infiltrated. Black plays back to d8, trying to evict the knight. And white can win the exchange here. Do we see how? White plays knight d5, that's strong too, but also queen e6. And if f takes e6, knight h5 check, and white picks up the exchange through this pretty little sacrifice. But knight d5 looks very strong as well, and black it's a nice shot. And if pawn takes knight, queen takes rook, so black runs away, but that's kind of a nice runaway. White's content to have won a pawn, and then the knight comes back into the attack. And black is thinking. Black's probably thinking of taking the pawn at a3, because at least having that outside a pawn would give black a chance in sort of almost any situation. I want to go back here just right here. I think white misses a clean win here with queen takes rook. Oh no, what am I talking about? On pawn takes rook, knight h5, queen f7. Okay, that's not right. Queen e6, f e6. Right, okay. Knight h5 is the only move to attack the queen, but queen f7. Okay, black returns the exchange that way, and actually has probably the better game in that situation. So knight d5, king g8, knight back, bishop e7, bringing in the, white brings in the knight. So, I mean, bishop a3 is, obviously white will play knight g5, and looks risky for black. White's won a pawn. All right, this is Kaufman versus international master Larry Kaufman versus Derek Wu, Rochelle's brother, and rook b4 is played, attacking the knight on c4, and white takes the pawn on a5, and the tactics are starting. White's, if queen a5, bishop d2 is obviously the idea. Black backs up with rook b5. Is that, I guess, if knight a5 is that good, then maybe rook b4 wasn't the right move. I mean, black could try rook d4 here, but okay, so this is a nice move, pinning, but it doesn't work, I don't think. Bishop f6 and knight e8. Let's see what happens. That's what happens. Bishop takes f6. Now, if queen f6, knight e8. And then black will have to play something like bishop e8. But then white will just move his queen. So, and if bishop, yeah. Black is on the verge of losing here through some kind of miscalculations, I think. Some pretty simple miscalculations. Queen b8, so still playing with this white knight on d6 being lost. So queen b8 is actually a fight, an interesting fighting move. White needs to find the move that cements his advantage, if he actually has one. That's actually almost a brilliant response. Does White have anything that? Okay, knight b5, bishop a3, knight a3. How about that? White has two pieces and a rook for a queen. All right, so that's the move. Knight b5. White's already taken a piece on f6. He'll be taking another piece on rook on b5 and a bishop on a3, and he'll have lost his queen. So that should win, I think. I don't see anything that Black has that's great after that. Yes, maybe knight g7, attacking the bishop, and that's exactly what was played. He plays it. Knight takes b5, bishop takes a3, and now knight a3 is coming. Black has a bishop on g7, so that's not possible. 2, 3. This is should be a winning position for White, and it looks actually almost straightforward. Black is trying to target the b2 pawn, but that's just White's defending. Black needs to come up with something very fast here in order to get being overwhelmed. All right, we're going to move on. This game was just Black is hoping for a miracle. And instead, he's just lost another piece. All right, so he's now rook down. If Black doesn't have something right away, knight g4, rook e2, I don't see anything. So this is very resignable time. This game has ended in a draw. Okay, so White played this. Black plays g6, f4, rook c6, rook b4, and the players repeat moves, probably not in the way that they did, because if Black plays rook c7, White plays rook takes b6. But they agreed to a draw somewhere in here, I can sort of see that. There's still a lot of play here, but they're being peaceful. I think White's for choice here now with the possibility of a kingside attack. If Black wants to give up the exchange, then that would be okay. Black could do well there too. So I can see them both being peacefully inclined. Here is Arun Dixit versus Arul Viswanathan. We've seen this. The end of that game was a draw. And this is this game where White now, okay, so White is safe here, pretty much. And the question is, can Black somehow, I don't think that Black has serious winning chances here. His own king is too vulnerable, and making infiltration by the Black rook down to White's, like if rook f1 here, White will start his own counterattack with queen a8 check and queen g8 check, and who knows where that could lead.
Do you want to talk about
It's possible, I guess.
Okay.
How's the tournament going?
Tournament is going well. Everything is good.
Okay.
I have a really good assistant.
Excellent.
Her name is Elena.
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 I didn't recognize her.
Yeah.
It's funny, I haven't seen her for a few years, or for a year or so, and yeah.
Yeah, so everything is going smooth. We are winding down for the third round.
Okay.
It's merged. We have an open section, and then we have a section which is A and B together.
Right.
We ended up having to merge the two sections.
Okay.
And then we have a section C and D, E, U under 1400. So the under 1400 actually is done. They wrapped it up pretty quick. We have a few games left from section C and quite a few from A and B.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So tomorrow's the grand finale, and we're
Yes.
going to get James Eade in here.
So yes, James in the morning, and you know who's coming in the afternoon?
No.
Patrick Wolf.
Oh, right, Patrick Wolf. That's so great.
Yeah, so
Oh,
he's
I'm
gonna
looking
make
forward to
his
seeing
debut.
Okay. Okay, he's going to make his debut as a commentator.
Yes,
oh, that's
exactly.
So great. for the final round.
Yes,
I'll bet you James Eade sits around for that too.
I bet he
Yeah.
will probably.
I'm gonna. That's the. I no longer watch these things because I can't watch them. But if those two are on there, I'll make sure. I'll make sure that I watch some of it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be
I
checking
can't watch
in. I
myself.
won't be. I mean, I have nothing to do except baking Christmas cookies. So
Wow.
I'm gonna be watching that, not to get bored.
All right, and
Yeah.
Abel will be back tomorrow
Yeah.
to deal with the
Yeah.
the chaos.
Yeah, I bet he's watching the 49ers game right now.
Oh, is that right? The
Yes.
49ers are
So
fine?
we split the days so he can watch his football, and then tomorrow I can sleep in and he can
and make
come.
some cookies.
Yes, and make
Right.
some cookies for the
Nice.
family. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
All right.
that's the situation here. Yeah, it's exciting. I love the turnout. It's quite impressive. I
like
feel
the mix of kids and adults. There's a lot of kids playing.
a lot of
There's
kids
a lot
playing,
of kids,
a lot
and
of
a lot of girls and women playing
yeah,
too.
exactly. And
It's
I
good.
like that we have some visitors, which is always nice. It's always refreshing to have new people
Canadians from Mongolia.
here. Canadian or Mongolians from Canada.
Mongolians from Canada. I'm not sure how you. Yeah.
So yeah,
Very cool.
it's very fun, and I've seen some old faces. Like we had some visitors. Arthur Braden, he's from Auburn.
Okay.
He does the Auburn Chess Club, and
Right,
he's a
right.
really
I've
really
heard the
nice
name.
fellow, and so he stopped by. Happy anniversary to you guys. I know he has anniversary with his wife, so they're in San Francisco. So yeah,
Okay.
it's going really well, and then we're gonna have a break for Christmas. I'm going to be off a few days, hopefully, and then next Saturday we have a scholastic end of year tournament.
Okay.
So we're going to have 3 sections there, under 400, under 700, and 700 plus. And there's going to be trophies for the top 10 players and team trophies. And it's a 5-round tournament.
Here at the Mechanic.
Yes, so
All
I'm
right.
going to be doing that.
Okay.
It's a fun day.
Okay. Good.
It's a very fun day. So,
All right.
yeah. How's Michael doing?
Michael Walter. We're just going to look at that. Stay with me for a second.
Yeah, I
stay
will.
with me for a
I
second.
need to
Okay.
learn something.
All right. So I thought that Felix was doing very well here, Felix G. And so Michael Walter has not played the greatest chess game, but this is, I think,
nice.
and we're getting, but now, okay, so White didn't want to play Rook C1, maybe because of E4, I'm not sure. I think we're settling down into a long game here. Maybe White's a little better. King comes to E4, and this has not been a very inspired game. I haven't liked this game very much. I just, I'm just there. I think White's played a little lackadaisically, and so anyway, this game was a nice game. This is the best game of the round, won by Austin
My. So Austin, I don't know him that well. He moved from Texas.
Austin, Texas?
Yes, not Austin. I have no idea from Austin, Texas, or which part of Texas, but probably Dallas. But yeah, they moved from Dallas a few months ago, or from Texas a few months ago, and he has a brother, Ethan, in the lower section. So it's nice to see them come out.
Yeah, we're getting getting a whole new bunch of crop of young players.
And how's Theo?
Theo, on the bottom board, he had gotten an even game, and he's got the initiative, but it's not substantial yet. Nothing has. White's playing. I mean, Black is starting to kick White around a little bit, and but nothing. He hasn't gotten paid for it yet.
Okay. Well.
So.
We are sort of a little bit rooting for Theo.
Okay.
I have a soft spot for Theo.
Right.
He's I miss his mom very much.
His mom.
Yeah.
Ruth.
Yeah, Ruth Herring, woman international
I knew her
master.
too.
Ruth Herring, she passed away November 29th, a year ago.
Right.
I know exactly the date because that's my mom's birthday. So
wow.
It's a bittersweet day for me. And she was a really great mentor for me. So I miss his mom. But I love seeing Theo play.
I don't know Theo, but I have played in the past both his mom and his dad in chess tournaments.
Nice.
So and I knew them both. Pretty well, because we all traveled in, not that well. I was always a little younger than everybody else.
Yeah.
I was like the kid, and everybody else was the grown up. So.
Yeah. So actually, I have to catch up with Theo or Abel because before Thanksgiving, before he left for wherever he went, we were actually thinking about having a fundraiser tournament for Ruth, where every player would just pay $20 and we raise funds to make a plaque for a chair.
Nice.
So we are trying to do that. We haven't really progressed in planning.
Peter doesn't have a chair yet. Or Ruth does.
I have no idea. I don't think so. I
took pictures of all those.
Yeah, and I inputted all of them, I don't remember. So I don't think he has.
I sent you a list.
Yes, you sent me, and I'm working on a nice poster.
You have all these chairs with plaques on the backs of them.
And I'm trying to make a nice poster so that people can easily look it up who has and what's the wording, and then right below the brochure. So
and we should have that on the website too.
Yes, we should, and that's a very good idea. I will make that happen.
Yeah. Just there it is on the website.
We are never short of ideas.
That's true. But you're very good at implementing the ideas. You and Abel you have not only lots of ideas.
Only I didn't have to sleep.
Well, it's incredible with the amount of stuff that you get done.
Thank you.
Both of the Woos are going to win. Okay, Mr. Stearman.
Why aren't you here, Mr. Stearman?
Thank you so much for joining us. and I'm going to take a look at that in a second. So Peter's doing Theodore is doing very well in this game. Okay. Very well. Black is pressuring White.
So Peter would be proud, or will be proud.
Yeah, I like this game very much for Black right now.
Okay, let's see the Woos.
Let's go up to Rochelle. Played a really nice game, and Black did take it A3. Okay, so Black thought that his only chance was to take it A3, and I think that may be true. If White can play A4 and then just play this position without other consequence, it's should be a straightforward win. So Black seizes the chance and plays bishop takes A3, and White plays knight F6 and back into F6. So it's check, folks. Black doesn't play king F8 this time. but plays king h8, and now white needs to find the killing blow. And Hosea is watching.
Yeah.
So,
I'm actually, Hosea, if both of the Wus will win, do you want to help them? Well, I don't know if you can help them. Because they will have to play each other next round. There's no other way, because we have
they
two.
used to pair me and my brother without
All the
any
time?
problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, FIDE doesn't give you any mercy in that. So yeah, they're gonna have to play each other if they both win, because Jason will be with 2 points, and the only other 2 points withdrew. Who could have won, and then we have a bunch of 1.5s, but even as 2.5, I mean, they will have to face each other with 3 points, so that's life.
Yep. So white plays h4, and this could be a crushing move. It's actually a really nice looking move. It's a beautiful move. If black takes, of course, queen h5 check is and mate next move. So, and the idea is to take on. Black has put his king in a coffin by playing king h8, and it was better, I think, to play king f8. I think, even though it might have lost, will have lost anyway to knight h7 and knight takes g5. But this is also, yeah, that was the problem. H4 is a very nice move. The threat is to take on g5 and then to play queen h3. Black might be forced to play rook f6 almost in this position, and but let's see, queen g6 is another possibility too. Queen g6, and try to make use of that's why black played bishop takes a3. So queen g6, but then comes, yeah, let's see, queen g6, is queen h3 possible after queen g6, maybe? And if rook f6, h takes g5 check, so queen g6, queen h3, black could maybe play g4 to keep the h file closed. I'm just...
You're sorry, you got me lost, probably at rook, okay.
Queen g6, okay, so if white plays, the move I was thinking of was queen h3, but then black has two moves, king g7 now I see, or else g4, because if black plays rook f6, then h takes g5 check, but that's just a cheapo. So...
Okay, try again.
Okay.
So what's white
white
move?
tries queen to h3, back here.
Okay.
Black can play king g7, maybe.
Yes. And then white should take the pawn.
Well, then rook h8 maybe,
then,
or something. I don't know.
But if he takes, then it's a discover check. Is that good or not? Because you said queen h7, queen h3, right?
Right.
And
so then I'm thinking king g7.
Yeah. And then h takes g5.
And then rook h8. Rook h8.
No, because... Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, there's all kinds of things. White can also play h5, and if queen to d3, h6 check. Yeah, this is looking extremely dangerous for black, and that's the move that's played. Queen h3.
And Jason asks if Josiah asks if Jason re-entered. Yes, Jason did re-enter. I think he re-entered the 2-day schedule.
E4, E5, but also king G7, H5. I'm glad to listen to Hosea here joining me. It looks to me like white should be able to get something, but I like your idea of E4, E5 too, but black has staked everything on taking on A3, and E4 does attack the bishop at A3 too. All right, let's find... let's go to board 2, and this is Ray Kaufman, and I think you're wrong about this game unless I've missed something here, because black is down a rook and 2 pieces for a queen. White is uncoordinated, but all white has to do is do a little bit of consolidating, and probably white's going to win. See, white has a rook and 2 and a knight and a bishop for a queen. That's more than enough. And white has an extra pawn as well. So I'm looking for white to try to win this game. Black is going to do everything he can to try to make it complicated. But,
Wow.
yeah. Now it's rook and 2 knights versus... but Black is opening the game up and making it crazy. Oh, this is starting to look bad for Black.
Wow.
This is starting to look very bad for Black. See how the pieces are?
Yeah.
Right? They're just...
Yeah, and
It's
that pawn was here, right?
Yeah. The white pawn has traveled far,
Yeah.
but white is starting to overwhelm Black, and you've got the sense that this was going to happen. With
Josiah thought Derek was white. Yeah, no, Derek is black.
Yeah, Derek is Black.
Okay.
White is starting to overwhelm. Yeah.
Okay. So it seems that they don't have to play each other next round.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like
Okay.
Ray Kaufman is. Black has still got a lot of play here. And if it was Josiah, I'll tell you, Josiah, if you were Black, I don't
You
know
could win.
who I'd bet on. Because I've seen you pull some rabbits out of the hat, sir.
Yes,
Right?
That's true.
But
And you would make me stay here till 9,
Yeah.
probably, right?
I kind of thought that this was going to happen way back here.
Jesus.
White found this really, it was way back here, Josiah, knight g6, bishop f8. Black tries to bail with this move, bishop f6, and now, of course, if queen f6, knight e8. So Black tries this queen b8. But now, okay, if Black plays bishop takes d6, he's going to be okay, but White's already taken a piece at f6, so now he takes another one at b5, and then after this he takes another one.
Yeah, wow.
So that's 3 pieces for the queen, and one of them's a rook. So, it's too much, and unless Black has just been unable to really get enough going. He's still presenting some difficulties to White, though, and White has to be careful that he doesn't drop a piece or two along the way or something like that, and let Black back into the game.
Yeah.
All right. This game turned into a win for White, as we predicted. We looked at it back here. This was rook e5 was crushing. This was all, and look, knight e6, and then not falling for the back rank mate, and a pretty convincing win for John Canessa.
Was he playing Akko?
Akko.
Okay, yeah. So John had to take quite a bit of break during his senior year. I remember he played a lot less during his senior year.
He's a good player.
And now he's going to Santa Clara
Right.
University then. So I'm glad to see him play again. And it seems that he's training.
He's a good player,
so it's
for
good.
sure. Let's quickly, we've seen the 2 draws here.
Right.
This one, Grandmaster draw, and this one, drawn on the board. Very instructive for beginners.
Nice.
And these are games, these expert versus A-player games here with
Rohan Dash and Arul.
Rohan. This game has been a seesaw battle. Here, let's see what happens. Black is marginally better. Black needs to try to find a way to get through here. I predicted draw, but it could go to Black's favor.
Yeah. So Rohan is a very. If I use sneaky, that's not good because that's negative. But he's a very underrated young player.
He's played a good game in this game, but he's made a couple of mistakes and allowed White to sort of get back into it.
Yeah.
And White is definitely back into it here.
Yeah.
This is not an easy game to win for Black.
Okay, someone is at the door. I have to
Okay, all right. You're the TD. Here's Michael Walzer versus Felix G. Hey, Guillermo, come on in. Guillermo. It's Guillermo. You want to sit down and hang out while I do commentary?
Do you have an online commentary going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Guillermo Rey, international master Guillermo Rey.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. I just came downtown to pick up a few things, and the only parking space I found
Pull in a little bit.
the only parking space I
Here, you
found.
gotta
was-
hold this.
The only parking space I found was across the street there, so I said, I'm going to see my friends over here.
This is fantastic. Well, welcome. To people who may not know him, this is Guillermo Rey, international master and organizer of two famous chess tournaments here in San Francisco many years ago at Ms. Brown's.
Yeah, more than two. I think it was like 3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah. And you also were like, you won some tournament in Las Vegas, right? A rapid
Yeah,
championship,
I
American rapid
tied
champ-
for first, but somebody else won
in the
and
tie
tie
break.
breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of. What have you been up to lately?
Well, I just haven't played
Yeah, neither
serious
have I.
chess in 17 years, and I'm just teaching school children to learn the game.
In Pacifica.
Well, mostly in the city.
Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't
Do you
mind-
know Judith Starry?
No,
Okay, Judith works here at the Mechanics Institute, and
I mean,
and Guillermo has been teaching kids in the city and in the Bay Area for a long time.
last year my teams won the sections they played in.
What tournaments?
At the Scholastic.
At the Scholastic.
Yeah,
Here
in the city, San Francisco Scholastic.
Yeah.
Town school got first place in kindergarten.
You're the coach at
Yeah.
Town School.
And second place was Brandeis, and I'm there too. So my two teams got first and second place in kindergarten, and first and
You're a
second and
good
third.
coach. You're a good coach. So
Well,
what's the secret of your
No,
success?
the students.
Yeah.
So you're
So this is a live broadcast on Twitch.
right. I saw the email. Yeah.
Have you seen them before? Have you seen
No,
any of them? They're on YouTube, and we've hundreds of hours of live chess commentary of the tournaments here. at the
Right, I know you guys do it, but
Caruana, we had Caruana.
Yeah, I
here.
saw on the newsletter. I saw you him.
Yeah.
And I've seen your on the newsletter. I've seen your comments about famous games.
Oh yeah. I write for the newsletter. I even wrote a little article about
It's
you.
about what do you call it? Friendly
Friendly
rivalry.
rivalry.
Yeah.
So Guillermo has been one of my friendly rivals. Yeah, and you know who was in here tonight? Also Dennis Fritzinger.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
How is he?
he's doing well. He's
Doing
doing well.
okay?
Yeah. We're all, some of us
Well,
are still
yeah.
hanging in there. Yeah.
Sometimes it hurts to see Elliot not doing so well lately.
Elliot's he's doing. Oh, you mean in his chess?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's staying with it. And
Yeah,
he's-
yeah.
if you look in his age group, what is it, over 95? He's in the over 95. No, wait a minute, over 65. He's in the top. What? He's in the top 10 or something like that. So what? He's up there. So.
I know he played and he won a tournament here, and then he went to the senior.
Yeah. So and he every once in a while he'll take somebody down here, somebody who thinks that they're they're really good. So he's and he's playing. He's always
Yeah,
playing.
I know.
So
I
it's
mean,
good.
he has a great love for the game.
Yeah, he does. And
It's amazing,
so who knows? One day we'll maybe do the same. I played not so long ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And last time I played in a tournament was 2 years ago, 2017. I played in one of the Tuesday night tournaments here, and I did pretty well up until the last round. I lost the last round to a strong expert, but I didn't even show up. I was like, my brain just turned off.
Yeah.
But on the way, I beat 2 masters. So
a few years ago, that would have been as a matter of course, right? But now,
Yeah,
now
yeah,
you have to make an effort, right?
And John Donaldson has made his
He's
return,
sort of,
and he's starting to make his return and cherry picking his tournaments. And
so he's playing tournaments. I
He's
know
playing-
he played in the Blitz. I
Yeah.
read in the newsletter that he played in the Blitz.
He's
He won it, right? He won the Blitz, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I think-
but then last time he played, he figured out of the money.
Oh, that's
and
why.
I'm saying that on live TV.
Good thing he's not the director anymore. You get fired.
That's all right. We're all, part of it is poking a little fun at everybody as well. We're just here having a good time. Actually, that's one of the fun things I enjoy about the commentary is, and people get in, like, there's Stearman, Hosea Stearman. He's been talking to us in the chat. There's a chat.
Yeah, there's a chat on the
There's
side.
a chat on the side. So here's Michael Walter. He's another old timer.
Right,
And
right.
he's been having a resurgence lately, like playing very strongly. And so we're looking at his game. He's playing Felix. He's playing some kid. Is it a kid? Felix G? Probably. Every other chess player. Every other chess player is a little kid. Let's see how this game is going here. And he's actually got some winning chances.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, for sure he's better, right?
Yeah, and Black might need to play accurately to draw this, right? I mean, maybe the d4 pawn is going to be lost at some point, and then what?
Well, I mean, if he attacks it, how is Black and White going to defend it?
How's Black going to defend it? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he would have to bring the king to c5, right?
Yeah, this is not looking so easy for Black. All right, so that's that game. And then we have digital DGT boards, and you've been following all this.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it on the newsletter. I get the weekly newsletter.
This was a beautiful game played by Black. This game finished. So I get to see some great games. I get to see some really silly games, and also. Look who's playing. Peter Biasis' son.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, Theodore. Peter and Ruth's son. He's an expert.
Oh, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
So he's
a strong expert. And he's this game ended in a draw. Let's see how he's doing. I think he was winning this game.
Did Peter show up around here?
Peter, I haven't seen Peter in years.
Yeah, nobody has, I guess, in
I'm
the
not
chess
sure.
world.
No, that's not true. I think somebody said they saw him not too long ago. So I'm not sure. Anyway, Black has a certain advantage here. Whether it's a winning advantage or not is...
This is Peter's, Theodore?
Yeah, Theodore is Black versus Pulela, Srichand. These are A player versus expert. This board. So on the top board, we have a 12-year-old girl, and she is playing, I think, what looks like a 13-year-old boy or something like that. He's a FIDE master. These are both very strong masters. She's a 20. She played in the U.S. Women's Championship and was winning it at one point. Rochelle was.
Whose move is it?
And let's see. We were looking at this: Queen H3, King G7.
Is that the game? Or
This is the game. H5. I'm not able to move the pieces. I'm able to just talk about Queen H6. It looks like to me the Black Queen is completely out of the game now. Knight G4, Queen H7, Knight E5, Rook E7, Queen F3, with a simultaneous attacks here. And this looks like it's close to the end for Black here. If King F8, Knight G6, the ends. So King G8 is forced.
Okay, but Knight G6, what happens if he takes?
What?
You said Knight G6?
Well, no, if King F8, Knight G6.
Oh, it's King, okay,
Yeah.
no, sorry.
This
Yeah,
is it.
just-
Look at this.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
It's an attack and it's over here.
Yeah, it's,
Black can probably resign here. She's just cutting him up.
is there any defense here?
It doesn't look good for Black here.
I'm gonna play rook e6.
Then Queen G5 followed by Rook F7 or something. Rook E6, Queen G5.
And maybe, yeah.
That's what.
I mean, it's forced, right?
Yeah, but what hope is there in that?
Well, I mean, he can play queen g7 if he plays takes with a pawn with a queen, right?
Oh, that's right.
And try to survive.
But then Queen G7 and Rook F7.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
you know,
That's all Black can hope for, I guess.
And maybe if he survives, then maybe with an outside pass pawn here.
White's trying to find. White seems to have found something a little quicker than that.
Okay, king f8, right?
Knight D7 check, maybe. And then Rook E6 check.
Rook e6.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's no. I thought the E pawn was gone. So what's happening here?
Knight g. Okay, so king.
What are we missing here? Oh, I see. Queen E6. And she saw it instantly, of course. And White's a rook up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice finish by Rochelle Wu. Crushing FIDE master Liang,
Yeah.
Jason Liang, just crushing finish here.
Is it not going to get out?
I guess with Rook F1 and then Knight F6.
Yeah.
But even if not, well,
Yeah.
okay.
No,
Does Black have any
yeah.
Rook F1 and Knight F6?
Yeah. It's hopeless, right? It's got to be hopeless.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
Rook
yeah.
F1 and Rook G7.
Yeah.
Even
anything,
yeah. Nice game.
Yeah.
Really nice, or just a convincing finish
How about
to
Kaufman?
that game. Kaufman was overwhelming. Yeah, this is another game that was. White found a way to get out of his troubles by winning a rook and 2 knights for a queen at one
Still
point.
going on?
Oh yeah, it's still going on, but it looks to me like Black can resign.
Black to move, right?
Yeah.
It looks
Something's
pretty bad.
got to give here.
Threatening knight h5, right?
And then King H8, and you can't play Rook F8 yet, but something is going, I mean, White is clearly moving in for the kill here. There's going to be a move that just throttles Black.
Let's see. What's the move he's going? How do
One more ended on principle.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, tell John. One ended in principle.
They're welcome in if they want to come in.
How's that the other game that we Wilder doing?
I may kick you off if
Yeah,
the kids come
Yeah,
in
yeah,
because
of
they
course.
want to
Yeah,
talk.
Yeah. How about
Maybe.
Wilder?
Let's see.
Game 7. How's that going?
Yeah,
looks-
White's doing well here, huh?
He's gonna win that pawn, right?
He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's Black's to move.
Yeah, it looks like it is Black's move here.
Can he put him in soon? So that's a problem. Oh well, I mean, maybe if the king comes to.
Where does Black go? It looks like Zitswang already. Bishop coming up as Bishop B2 on the next move.
It's Black to move, right?
Yeah. Maybe he goes King F6, and if
Yeah.
Bishop B2, but then he can't even play King G5. It's just you can't even play King G5 with your. Well, Michael Walzer made this look easy almost in the end here. I mean, it should be a win now, probably, if he can take on
Yeah, but-
T4.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like.
What do you think?
I think it's a win.
Yeah.
And also, those 2 pawns are on dark square.
Yeah, that makes it worse. This game was over, and Theo's game, Theo Biasis, this game marginally, well, black is certainly better here with space and better minor pieces, but it's still
Yeah, still
has to win it or improve and force some another.
long ways.
Yeah. Back up here. Okay, this game is over. I think white just needs to find the way to force the black pawn in or form a mating net around the king. Black still is hanging in there. Yeah. I mean, somehow I don't believe that black should survive this, but
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
all right. I think we'll leave it to Raymond Kaufman to find the
Wait,
win.
hold on. Can you go back to the person?
This one?
Okay, so,
I think Raymond Kaufman, we'll leave it to Raymond Kaufman to find the win. He'll find it. It's up to him. Bishop F7, maybe? And then I'm trying to play knight G6 on the next move. Just force the queen in somehow. I don't know. I just want to get that queen in somehow. Look at rook B1. This is threatening rook B7 check. He's probably figured out some force sequence here.
Is that what he played?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because then queen has to go to D6, otherwise he's going to get a check on B8 after knight H5, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think white's on his way to a win here. Let's see this game. This game was black better, but not clear that this was a win anymore, or if yeah, white's correct to keep the queens on here. Black's going to find it hard now to target a weakness. I think black.
Yeah.
White's probably drawing this pretty comfortably now.
The light squares are too weak for black.
This is just ideal here for white.
White king is safe.
Walter. So let's see, bishop d4, king d6. That can't be a draw. King e4, yeah, and d4. White goes in.
And
so
if it goes to f5, not enough time, right?
King d5.
What? He wants to.
He wants to get tricky.
He wants to.
He just wants to win the H pawn for nothing and just go king f5. I'm not sure. I think bishop. Let's see, bishop d4, king f5.
No, just maybe king e3 or something like that.
King e3, king g4, d4. Black doesn't want to do that, or does
he?
Okay,
well, king f5.
Because the black king could maybe circle around this around this way.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, maybe.
King d5, king g4, king c6, king h5, d4, king g4, d6. That would win for white.
Yeah.
He can play on king f5, bishop d4, king d4, king f5. I think white can play just king d5, right?
And then, but doesn't he?
King g4, king c6. King h5, d4, that's winning for white, right?
Well, if you leave a king on c6, you're going to promote with check, right?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe put it on e6 instead.
Okay, okay.
Or somewhere else.
e6, yeah. All right, bad move.
No, well, so he just doesn't want to give him any, because here he can also go here and then win those pawns, right?
Right. Yeah.
So bishop c5 is probably more accurate. And you don't need to calculate precisely, right?
And black is stuck here for a
moment. Because in the worst case scenario, he can go to f4 and b8, right?
But if black plays king c5, white plays king f5, black plays king b4, white can actually play bishop a3 check and force the king back. Isn't that funny? That's a funny little geometry there or something.
But what if he plays king d6? What's he going to do?
King f5.
Ah, okay.
And if king c5, bishop a3 check, and king g6, that would win.
Yeah. So he wants to go to f5 no matter what.
So now white can play bishop f4 and bishop b8 and target those pawns.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be probably several ways for white to win this, my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But I
probably.
mean, Wilder, I think, doesn't want him to go to f5. So if he wants to win the pawn on d4, what's he going to do? Let's say he plays bishop f8, right? He has to play bishop f8.
Bishop b8, king g5, bishop bc. I don't know. White's got to be winning.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this Biasis's game. Still, black is slightly better. All right, back up to. We're getting to the end of things here. Ooh.
So what were the last moves?
Yeah, well, rook
he
b1,
played
he played queen f8 instead.
Knight h5.
Knight h5, king h8,
Bishop e4.
bishop e4, and that threatens knight g6 with a vengeance.
So what do?
What to do? Nothing.
Well, knight g6, he just has to put the queen somewhere where he can take the pawn, right?
Yeah, that's true. Bishop f5. Look at this. Black is playing heroic moves here. Absolutely heroic moves. Is there? What about rook f1? Rook f1, a3, rook f5, queen f5, bishop f5, a2, knight f7, mate. It's fun being a little bit involved with chess again, not as a player, but as analyzing. And I work with Nick, and that guy is incredible. Nick DeFermian. I'm in the office with him almost every day, for years now. And people will put out chess problems outside, and his approach is just, I'm going to solve. No, he doesn't get them right away always, but I'm going to solve it, and I don't want anybody moving the pieces or anything. He's he's very disciplined. That's the word.
He hasn't lost any.
Serious and disciplined, and I see what it takes to be.
Yeah.
Well, I see what it takes. Not that I have it, but But this is what it takes to be a top flight player. So rook f1 is played, and that would be a comical end to the game here. Rook f1 is just such a brutal move.
And you said white was losing earlier?
No, white played very well. White played a nice little combination. Black plays king h7, getting rid of that final.
Yeah, but I mean, you take, it's got to be this cover check that kills him somewhere, right?
Yeah, but if not, white's having all the fun.
Okay, so even if he takes with the bishop, right? What happens if he takes with the bishop? Where does he go?
King h6, I guess, forced. Knight g4. He takes with the rook. The queen has to hide from a rook check, so it hides at a3.
So
this has got to be a forced mate. So. Yeah, rook g5 check. How about rook g5 check? If king h6, knight f7. And if king h8, knight f7. All right, rook g5 check. It's made into Mr. Kaufman. See, this is where, and I was here during the Blitz Championship, all these grandmasters and international masters, everybody's hanging their face right, with
Really?
5 minute, because it's 5 minute, right? It was a lot of fun to comment on, and I wrote an article about it afterwards. There's been some good tournaments here.
Yeah, I know. The club is very active.
amazing.
Yeah, since
Yeah.
The new person, Talamantes, took over, is very active. The club is very...
Yeah, and there've been some high-profile events like Rapid Championship, Blitz Championship.
Yeah.
And he plays Rook G5 check, so Knight F7 mate on the next move. Nice game. I want to show you his little Raymond's move here. So we get this fairly kind of complex middle game, and Black gambles it up and plays Knight B6. He's been under a lot of pressure, and White's just sort of regained a pawn, and Black may have been equal, and he may still be equal, but Black plays Knight B6 here, and he's gambling that White's not going to take on D6, but White takes, Black pins. First, White plays Bishop F6. Queen F6 is impossible because of Knight E8. So Black follows up with Queen B8. Now, if Black can play Bishop D6, he's going to have a good game. And there's almost no move here except for Knight. Remember, he's already taken a piece on.
Yeah, so he got 3, right?
So he's getting the Rook now, and after Bishop A3, Knight A3, and it's just a matter of time, I think. I mean, Black develops an initiative.
Black miscalculated somehow here.
Yeah, I think so. Or just like thought that he had a chance here and was under a lot of pressure, and it was just the wrong decision.
It's hard to believe that he thought he had a lot of chances here, right?
Well, you know, having a queen is nice, you know, and maybe he saw Queen D6 and B4, and that was it. And so, but what happened was Queen D6, forcing Queen B4. White goes back here, and suddenly you can't take on B2 because of Rook over and takes the piece.
So what happened from here?
Well, Black gets a little desperate. Black gets a little desperate, and then, you know, he gets some play. He mixes it up, but loses everything over on that side of the board.
Michael just won.
Michael Walder?
Yeah.
Do you guys want him in?
Sure, yeah, Michael.
I'll put this here, and then I'll bring Michael in, okay?
Yeah, I can rake him over the coals. Yeah, and you stay here. Let's get another. Can you grab that, Mike?
Yeah.
If you want to stay, you can.
Maybe, you know, my wife is waiting there.
Is she in the building?
Yeah, but...
Well, that's good.
She's
just finished. Do you want both of them?
What?
Ray Kaufman and Michael, or?
Well, they're different chess games.
Yeah, I know.
Well, let's.
Who do you want?
I don't care. Whoever wants to come in.
Okay,
All
I'll
right.
see.
All right.
So Elliot didn't play this, or?
He said he was sick. I think he just chickened out. In fact, he's been on the comments here.
How about John didn't want to play either?
John played one round, but he claimed something was going on.
Oh, he played one round?
Yeah, he did. He played one round, and he showed up. Yeah, no, that was good.
Nick doesn't play anymore, right?
Very rarely, yeah. He played in the Rapid Championship.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He played... Persano Rayo played. Do you know Persano Rayo? Well, he's an IM with 5 Grandmaster moves. So he's really strong. And not only that, but he's got a very interesting chess mind. Like if you sit with him and he shows you variations, it's like, you know, like...
He's a young guy?
No, he's probably 30 plus. But really strong chess player. And like I said, interesting chess mind. And he played really strong in the Rapid. It finished ahead of Naroditsky and a whole bunch of other players. The next day, he played in the Blitz, blunder, made him one, you know. It was kind of funny, you know.
So there were a lot of blunders in the Blitz, right?
Yeah, there were a lot of blunders. It was held the next day. First it was the Rapid, and then there was the Blitz the next day. A lot of the same players. There's Michael. Do you remember Michael Walder?
Seen the name many times. Guillermo. Nice meeting.
Guillermo Ray.
Yes.
International master GuillermoRay.
Very strong player, I remember.
Yeah, well, try to stay inside the blue line.
Inside.
Yeah, and then you'll be in the camera.
So you didn't want this guy to get any tricks with King F5 and
Here,
stuff
I
like
gotta
that, right?
get you.
Yeah, I mean, I sat there and
Here, I'm going to move over.
I'm understanding there. He's got all this. At this point, it doesn't matter. I got like
And he
three.
put all the pawns on dark
All
square.
right, yes.
Very nice for me. Yes.
Michael's in the picture. Guillermo's not, but
It's okay, it's okay.
We'll hear him off camera. All right, so Michael, I'm going to go over this game, but I don't think you played very convincingly in the
No,
opening.
I don't think so either.
And in fact, Black got a great game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you what I thought.
What is his opponent's rating, Felix?
19 something.
Yeah, there were a lot of strong experts or masters versus A players in this round.
So we have a close Sicilian reverse, and that's Spassky's move with the white pieces. I'm sitting there going, okay. So I used to take.
Okay, yeah,
I used to take an f6, but the engine always says take on f7 because the queen is worse on that square. I don't know why. So, but I went ahead and did it. So
Hey, this all seemed perfectly fine.
yeah.
In fact, and so, well, here you can't play f4, obviously, because he
Right.
takes. And
Well, the knight's floating on c3, so I got to be careful.
And black has a chance to take here with the pawn, but chooses to take with the bishop, and both are probably. Rook e1, that actually worked out well. And now black just plays a horrible move, but, I mean, maybe he should play a6, or maybe his pieces are already badly placed, but black is in trouble here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, this is I mean, this looks like a close Sicilian reverse. I mean,
But
it's-
b5 is coming really fast. So what happens here? Why not just play a4 right here?
I thought about that.
He
and-
played knight b6.
Yeah, he
He
played
played
knight.
knight b6,
It
and
just
to me
doesn't
it
make
looks
any
like a6 is the right move.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty long.
Yes.
I mean,
but
pretty
I
obvious.
guess you play b5, well, a4 and then b5. But
I thought about a4. What I thought he might try knight takes c4 and get a few pawns in the exchange, right?
how does he get the? Oh, he takes on b1.
Yeah.
I see.
And it just looked really messy, and I wasn't sure what was going on with that center rolling, and I just decided to
Very interesting.
avoid
Okay.
that.
All right. I didn't even look at knight c4. I didn't really think it was possible. Okay, so that was your reason for playing rook c1.
Yes.
Now, however, black has time to play d5, and your game. So
It's
something-
interesting. I wasn't. So I'm protecting f2. That's so I can move the bishop.
I see.
Right?
And maybe he should have played d5 instead of rook f8. Is he losing a valuable tempo?
Well,
there?
the thing is, if he plays d5, I might play bishop c5. I don't know. Followed by what?
I don't know. Maybe taking and then playing knight b5 or something.
Or,
yeah. How about that? That's an idea. So
Yeah.
d5, but he could take on c4, of course, with a pretty strong initiative for the exchange.
So what we're talking about. So if he plays d5,
Bishop c5 and then dc4, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
That would be pretty good for black, probably. But if he plays rook, well, you could take on d5 first.
yeah, well, I think that would be my first
All right,
move.
so
The
take
question
on
is,
d5. He takes with the pawn, say.
now I got to move my bishop either to c5 or g5, and I would spend some time thinking.
But c5 might be good, and then knight b5
Yeah.
or something like that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
the one threat. The other, the play the g. If that doesn't, I mean, have to weigh the exchange sacrifice, right? If he just pushes, but I think I'm okay here either way.
Well, it's worth looking at, but I mean, somehow knight b6.
No,
I don't know.
I didn't like the move,
Yeah.
but I still wasn't
let's
sure what
see,
to do.
yeah. Okay, rook e8, b5, d5, take, bishop g5, a4, and where is the point where black screws up badly here?
Well, he goes into the. He puts everything on the dark squares. I think he should.
Why doesn't black play knight d5? Oh, because of because of knight g6. Okay, so I think black should be okay here somehow. Bishop e4 is a pretty committal move, but I can see that knight on e4 is really strong. Maybe black should sack the exchange. I don't know, but there's a c file in the weak b7 pawn. So, all right, bishop e4, bishop e4. What if he took on a4?
Yeah.
I was thinking of either queen a5 or
You know,
I may have to take on c8 first because he has the trick takes and then jumping in there, and
right.
so I'll probably take on c8 and then play queen a5
And
or
then
something.
knight c3, queen a7. If you play queen a7,
Isn't the bishop on G5 in trouble here?
Is the bishop on g5 in trouble?
If you move the queen, I mean.
well, knight
no,
a4,
no.
queen a, knight a4, rook c8, queen a5. What about
No,
knight
no,
c3
no.
then?
No,
then
if
queen
the rook was still
b7.
you know, if the rook was
Oh,
still
queen
on
takes
F8.
a7.
After knight c3, queen a7. Yeah.
I mean, he's probably still okay.
He's
It's just-
fine after
yeah.
knight b5. Just everything comes off, right? And that's 4-4 on the queen's on the
But
king's side.
when we played knight d5, I all of a sudden said, well, shoot, this endgame looks really bad for him.
Queen a2, rook c5. Hold on here. So, what about knight c3 here? Queen f7 and bishop b7, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Black, yeah, okay. I
Now-
guess.
What,
Now-
what was that, Paul?
Black plays knight c3, queen f7, bishop takes b7. But then maybe rook b8 and knight a4, or rook
Well,
c7 and knight a4.
Yeah, I get to play bishop to c6, and
Yeah, white's got somewhat of a bind there for sure.
Bishop
yeah.
e7.
Mhm.
I got the bishop pair at that point.
Yep. It's funny. You'd think black would be doing okay here. All right, so this is voluntary endgame. And now what about rook c1? Does that run into
Yes,
e4?
e4, right? So why allow it? Just play bishop
Right.
back. It's
Yeah, okay, bishop d2. But can he play rook c5? But that endgame is...
I'm going
also-
to play rook c1. So,
Right. But maybe he should play it right away, rook c5. I don't know.
I don't think it buys him anything. He might be able to hold it, but it's going to be a lot of work. I mean,
See, his pawn weakness would be at e5.
well, that's the
ended
first
up-
one. But then
right.
I can later play f4, and then his pawn is on d4. I can win that pawn.
Right,
So that's
similar to the game.
yeah. So I just
But
think
then he
it's.
plays all the other pawns from dark squares too.
Well, to make it very easy. Right? I was originally trying to calculate the end game where I give up the king side pawn and slow him down and win with the d pawn, right?
But then,
So,
but then
basically-
he put the pawn on
And it was like, well, yeah.
So, folks, basically what we're saying is what these two masters here are talking about is this is close to a winning position for white already, if not winning. White brings the king up to e4, plays f4, the d-pawn becomes weak, and then subsequently lost. Maybe black needed to find a way to keep the rooks on the board.
I thought he had to.
Like by playing instead of doesn't king d6 look
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah,
Sorry.
throw another piece on the
Just
dark
play
squares.
b6 and then when white plays f4, just reactivate that rook somehow.
Well, I'm still going to. I can improve my position slowly.
Yeah.
I can still play bishop h6 and h4 and
Right.
things like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, yeah. Nicely played. You've
Oh,
been
thank you.
playing some good technical games lately. I've noticed.
Wow.
Actually, your chess mastery is coming out and is being allowed to flourish here. Yeah, this is well played by white. And now there's infiltration. Finally, the right pieces are exchanged. White's close to winning this now.
Yeah, give me a couple minutes. Sorry. Yeah,
I think white's probably winning this or close to it. Right? Everything.
it feels like it.
Yeah. Michael Walder.
You guys
I don't-
want to see something funny?
Yeah.
If I can interrupt.
Yeah.
How often do you guys see Alexander Perlov in this position?
His
And
father.
this is his son. Like
Right.
exactly the
Yeah,
same
his
position.
father. Sounds like
I'll
that.
show the Can I?
Yeah.
Can I show
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I can.
Probably get as close as you
Yeah, I
can.
don't know.
Yeah.
But it's
You
like
live in this area now?
I live in Alameda on the island there. Yeah.
something.
There's
Anyway.
Daniel
You used to be in the East
Perloff,
Coast.
like
Yeah.
father,
Excuse me?
like
You used to be in the
son.
East Coast, right?
I used
From
to.
New York?
No. I used to. I played in L.A. a lot.
no.
Yeah.
So I've really been lucky. I feel really lucky. I've been hobnobbing with Dennis Fritzinger today. Now Guillermo Ray, Michael Walter. I saw John Donaldson in here.
Yeah.
It's like the
Like
old
a time-
folks
time
club.
machine.
Time machine. Time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my only thing is, do I leave the pawns on or do I? And I'm pretty confident that this is winning, so I
Yeah,
don't mind getting rid of
nicely
the pawns.
played, Michael. White will soon win. This has got to be a
Well, yeah,
mistake.
I thought he was going to play A6 instead, and then I was calculating going back to B3, going to B2, winning the D pawn, letting him win the H pawn, cutting him off with F5, and then marching my D pawn, which is faster than his H pawn.
Right.
And
Okay.
But but then he made it even easier, so it was like, just in case
Yeah. There was obviously black had no defense, and white was going to win this game in
And I was
some
going to play
manner.
F5. I go, why?
White,
F5.
white was going to win this game in one way or another. Thanks, Michael. For sure.
It was a pleasure.
We have one more game, one more live game here.
I'm a bit the big guy.
Yeah, we've seen the result of every game here.
Excuse me.
This game ended in a draw. This game. Have a seat, Guillermo. Or you're taking
Yeah,
off?
hey,
Okay.
the-
That was Guillermo Ray
I
and
wanted
Michael
to
Wall.
people at the mechanics might want to organize a tournament. I want to
Talk to Judith and
Okay.
Abel. Yeah.
Okay, who's the?
Abel
Thomas?
Talamantes. Yeah. Email those guys. They'll be back to you.
Oh,
Yeah, don't forget your coat. All right, everybody. We're wrapping up the tournament here. There's still one more game left. This game ended in a draw. We didn't cover the end of this game. White's keeping the queens on, and black is just chasing the white queen around, and nobody's getting anywhere. Black, of course, would love to trade queens, but white's not going to allow it. And there's always the potential of white setting up a battery with his bishop and his queen and checkmating black or causing the black king distress. So Eric Hahn and Das Rohan on board 6. It ends in a draw. And the final game of the round. Okay, so in this, we know from the standings that it's now Rochelle Wu and Raymond Kaufman are the only perfect scores after round 3, and they will be playing each other. That'll be a great game tomorrow morning, you folks. Come watch our live stream. I'll find out what time that starts in the morning. Probably around, let me see, I'll get Judith in here. I won't be here tomorrow morning, but commentary will be provided by Jim Eade. And then I've heard Grandmaster Patrick Wolf will be providing the commentary for the final round. So you're going to get some real quality analysis here from two-time U.S. champion Patrick Wolf. Stick around for that. Let's see. The 5th round starts at 10 a.m. So my guess is that the commentary will probably start at 11, and then noon. Noon rather. And then the 5th round starts at 3 p.m. And the commentary probably will start at 4. And definitely be here for Patrick Wolf and Jim Eade for round 4 rather, and Patrick Wolf for round 5. And y'all get a break from me, which you probably can't wait for. the last game to finish this evening on the DGT boards is Sricharan Pulela versus Theodore Biasis, and Black having yeah. All right, knight a4. White is losing something here, and the mistake is right here. Queen e4 is going to lose. There were some mistakes with the DGT technology, but basically the queens were exchanged on e4, and then Black played knight a4. And it says it's White's move here. So is there something wrong with the DGT? I've got it as White's move, and White's time is ticking. As Black's move and White's time is ticking. So I need somebody to look at what's going on that board. In any case, leading the tournament, the first inaugural John Donaldson Championship is not John Donaldson, who played in one round, but Rochelle Wu, 13-year-old, I think 13-year-old Rochelle Wu, and Raymond Kaufman, chess player, I think in his 30s, international master, son of Larry Kaufman, Grandmaster Larry Kaufman. So, Theodore Biasis's game, we'll try to find out what's going on here. Knight a4, rook e4 is probably not the move that was played, and why White's time is ticking. I'm not sure. But I'll sip my coffee, and if anybody has any questions, they can chat. And I don't have much to add to that. I'm still waiting to find out what's going on in this on the DGT boards. And do you know what's happening with the DGT board in this game?
It just says error
Reconfiguring.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still waiting for that. Okay. And that's our last game. Let's see if there was any. Let's review one of the games from round one while we're waiting here. This is Theodore Biasis versus international master Ray Kaufman's game from the first round. And let's just take a quick look at it. Why not? While we're waiting for the DGT board to reconfigure. And we have a Grunfeld position here. Black seems to be doing all right. A4 and knight g5 was the point. Black plays for the b4 square. If White takes on d5, of course, the knight at e2. White comes in with this. At this point, White's a pawn up. The queen is out of the game. Black can play rook b8 and or maybe find some way to trap the queen or play f5. Black has some dynamic possibilities here. One of them is trying to go for this. There comes f5, as I thought. White's trying to hold the center, and Black busts it open again. There was a lot of possibilities for both players, I think, in in these sequences, and who knows what should have happened. Black is trying to regain the pawn, and he will regain it on e4. Black is... The queen was attacking the knight at d3, but this is with check. And now white has some play on the long diagonal here. But black finds a way to block the diagonal with the knight. And he's very well centralized here, and the bishop at c3 is under attack. White must have been racking his brains around here trying to figure out if there was a way to get through. I found nothing better than to exchange. Black is in a pawn ahead in a rook and queen endgame here. Black is anxious with all the leaky holes there in his position to trade queens. White doesn't trade. Maybe queen c4 was a better move there with a pinning the rook to the king. Rook d8, queen e6. This is very direct. White is playing, but this just exchanges pieces, and white can't exchange and then play queen e5, checking queen c5, I guess, because of queen d1 and queen a4. Wow, I don't know, rook e1, that might have been something. He lost, maybe lost on time here. That would have been unfortunate. White still has some chances to draw this game. That was from the first round. We can see how Michael Walger beat Eric Lee in the first round. Let's go to that game really quickly. And this was a Roy Lopez. Sharp opening. Wow. Okay, so Michael Walder, if pawn takes knight, pawn e5, black sidesteps that, white plays back, b5, very sharp game from Michael. He knows his openings, knight h5. I'm not sure that putting that knight h5 is right there. In fact, it looks mighty strange. Bishop e7, rook e8, bishop b4. Okay, white bishop goes to a completely new home at b4. Black comes into f4, knight a5. White's clamping down on the queen side, and now has the two bishops. So he's opening up the game. Black plays e4. Very double-edged position here. Black seems to be doing okay here. This definitely is a nice wedge into the position. And black decides not to play queen g2. I guess that's dangerous. I'm not exactly sure why. Queen g2 looks like it might have been a move here. I'll have to ask Michael at some other point in the future. Queen f4 instead, queen f7, attacking the knights. At d7, queen e5 threatening mate on b2, defends with c3, queen e6, and this endgame. This is a very nice move, a4, making space for the white bishop. And this is starting to look good for white now. Making progress, and now he's winning piece. It was the exchange. Let's see. Black is willing to give up the exchange, but white wins a piece instead with d7, knight g7, and black has only one pawn, and black has actually 0 pawns now. And this is a matter of technique for a strong player like Michael. White's threatening mate here with rook g7 and rook h7. And this picks up the f2 pawn. And now we have a different kind of endgame easily won by Michael Walzer. All right, we're going to go back to Theodore Biasis's game, and it's still trying to configure, huh? But the game is still going on? So I'll just, while it's still trying to configure, I will go and review some other games, I think, from previous rounds, because there's nothing that we can follow now on board, on this board. And let me see what time we have. Can I have a time check? I'll make my own time check. It is 6:48. We'll end the broadcast in 12 minutes if the DGT board is not. I see no reason to continue if we can't follow it. This way I can review a few more games from round one. Here's Jason Liang versus Canessa. This is Jason Liang is a 2350 FIDE master and playing John Canessa, who's an expert, but having a really good tournament. And this is another Lopez from round one. Let's see what's going on here. Both players are maneuvering. You gotta love those knights at f6, g6, f3, and g3. White brings the knight out of the center, provoking d5 for black. We've seen this in a game from round three. Queen f3, knight h4. Both players are just kind of moving around here. c5, nice and aggressive move. Black is gaining space in the center. Black takes off the threatening white knight there, and you can see black is just playing a good game here, playing very positively. But white seems to be recovering a little bit here, and I'm not sure that black has much here. Bishop c2, bringing the bishop back into the game. And black has some pressure on the pawns at b2 and f5 maybe, and possibilities. Black is a little more controlling central squares. We'll see though, the contest continues. Those are obviously not the right moves here, folks. DGT snafu. We're probably back to the right thing here. Black is still pressuring white. And now white decides to, instead of playing bishop e3 and then losing the f-pawn to queen d5, decides to go into this endgame, but this endgame is not good for white, I think. And the main reason is that black's rook, marauding rook on the 7th, combined with this h-pawn, it's a difficult combination to stop. And in fact, white doesn't seem to be able to find a way to do it. And we run into this, where the right rook is completely passive on the first rank. Black stops the pawn from moving in, but only temporarily. And this is clearly, black just needs to find a way in here, and he does. White, for some reason known only to the player, perhaps it was time trouble. It doesn't look like it though. Liang makes Canessa checkmate him. And so that was a game from round one. Oh, and here, let's look at Abel Tolamentis' game here. Chess Room Director. Are we still not getting Theo's transmission?
Unfortunately not. Theo is thinking, so Yeah.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the game there. So I was looking at board. I was going to look at Abel's game and then call it a day.
Yeah, okay. Abel, yeah, he said that he played a really, really good game until his quote-unquote
Okay.
age kicked in.
All right. Well, let's look at it. Let's look at it and see. I'm a little tired, and it's the end of the evening, and this
Yes.
is the last game we're going to look at
We
tonight.
usually don't go this long, right? So thank
yeah.
you so much for hanging out with me today.
I haven't. I wish Theo's game was still going on, and
Yeah.
I'm here with Judith Starry, directing the third and fourth rounds. Are you here tomorrow as well?
No, I'm
You
not.
and Abel are trading off.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, why?
Yeah.
Everyone can have at least one full day of
Sure.
weekend, so it's good.
Yeah.
So
Abel-
Sriram is a 21 something
Right.
player, or well, he's gonna cross 2200 now. He actually withdrew after round 2 because he won round 2 as well,
Right.
and
Then took
he
a
said he said that he's withdrawing because he's gonna cross 2200, and that will make him a national master, and
And then he's going to take it from there.
take it from there. So I think
Okay.
he's not risking it. I told him, well, just sleep on it. If you want to come back tomorrow, you can still play a game just to be absolutely sure. But
I think he should come back and play.
I think so too. So Sriram, come back.
Okay.
But anyway, so this was the game.
Yeah. Abel's done well here. He's exchanged the dark square bishops, which has favored white a little bit. But this game looks even, and now Abel's really going for it with this. H3 and G4. I'm not sure I approve, but he's playing a sharp game. Knight H4, and the idea is to play Knight F5. He's trying to attack. Black throws in Knight E4, takes.
There you
Knight
go.
F5. And Abel takes there, and he has to watch out. He has some weaknesses here. Queen D6. That's the way to get rid of the weakness. Oh, maybe Black should have played Queen G5, but then Knight E7 check and Knight takes C8. So now this looks wrong, though. Black lets his whole structure over here weakened.
Mm-hmm.
Black gets his knight in there, but Abel plays Rook B2, and now he's going after the E4 pawn, and looks like he could have taken it,
Yeah.
because if bishop takes, knight takes, Rook D3, and just a clear pawn up.
Mm-hmm.
So Abel misses a pretty simple win here, I think. And maybe he's trying to make things a little too complicated, F3. But this is just also wins the pawn.
Mm-hmm.
But now why not take with the knight, right?
Yeah.
Why take with the pawn? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, I see. Maybe, yeah, because you're threatening knight F6 check too. So, Abel, I'm not sure what you were thinking there. I'm going to talk to you next time I see you. This extra pawn now means almost nothing, because
Yeah.
it's doubled. And,
Yeah.
Knight E4, Black is Knight F5, threatens the Rook. Okay, Black has to move out of the way here. Rook D7. Okay, so now there's possibilities on the 7th rank for White here.
And I
Ooh.
think this is where I joined, because I said, "Are you still playing?" And he didn't answer, so I said, "Okay, his game might be on the broadcast," and this is where I saw that he's playing. So
Okay. Black comes back to protect the F7 pawn and attack the Rook. Black is threatening mate. And now that move doesn't seem to do much. Why didn't he move there first? white's drifting. And now
I think this is when he got tired, right?
knight f3 check. If knight f3, rook d1 check is going to be mate in 2. So he has to move the king. And now rook f7 should be at least a draw. Oh, no, rook d1 mate again. The mate was threatened again with rook g1. This is... no, that can't. Black obviously played rook b1 check, not rook b3 check. That's silly as can be. Rook b1 check. Yeah, Abel, you had him, I think, and you just needed to play the other move. Not take with the pawn, but take back with the knight. Let's see though if Theo's game has moved any. No. So
Anyway.
I think that could be it for the evening,
Yes,
folks.
that will be.
There's still a couple games left in the other
only
room.
two, just Theo
Two
and
games.
Daniel Perlov.
Okay.
So-
Well, is he still
Standing?
on the
No,
chair, just like
no.
his dad?
But he's very much like his dad,
Now
actually.
you should take pictures side by side, put them in
I-
the newsletter.
I know.
Yeah.
So I think we have a lot during the broadcast, so I
Uh-huh.
need to take a snapshot from a video.
There's some real characters in this chess club,
Yeah,
isn't
I
there?
told Alexander that you can't really deny that he's your son.
Yeah, you get
He's-
to know people really
Yeah,
well.
he's funny. Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, Paul Whitehead and Judith Starry, a long day of chess here
Long.
at the Chess Club. Tomorrow, even more excitement, James Eade and then Grandmaster Patrick
Yeah.
Wolf.
And I can only imagine what they will do together.
Yeah, I'm actually very interested in seeing
Yeah.
that. I don't watch the broadcasts anymore because I can't watch it for
Yeah.
some reason. But if those guys are on it, I'll
Yeah,
at least
it will be
watch
fun.
it later on. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be fun. So I think they start at, let me take a peek at my text. I think Abel texted me when Jim is coming in.
We're double checking the times,
Yeah.
folks, for tomorrow. And thanks everybody that joined us. We're really glad to have your company here at the Chess Club as we try to bring you quality annotation and commentary from various chess personalities.
Okay, so actually Jim will come in at noon, and he does it till 7:30,
Right.
and Patrick will do noon to 4.
Oh, so Patrick is going to
So,
be here
yeah, at noon.
At noon, but
Yeah.
and that's when the broadcast
So-
starts.
yeah.
Okay, broadcast starts at noon
So, yeah,
with Patrick Wolf and Jim Eade.
that's good information. I'll also push it up on Facebook. So
Don't
good.
miss that for the world.
That will be my lunchtime entertainment. So, hi,
Okay.
Elena.
All right.
You paired
from,
up. Okay.
From Paul Whitehead and Judith
And
Starry.
can we give a shout out to Elena?
Yeah, Elena
She's
Kondakova.
she's our assistant
She helped us
today,
here tonight.
and yes,
And put your smiling face into the camera and say hi.
say hi.
Thanks for helping us out this evening.
Yeah, and she's earning. Yes, please. Thank you so much.
There's-
See, good assistant.
Yeah.
She inputs the results, does the pairing and everything. I just have to double check it, and that's it.
It's fantastic. There's so many different people that make this club
Yeah.
work. Not one person could do everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Plus, it's a fun thing to train the kids to become TDs. and-
TDs and training kids to become TDs and great chess players
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll be back tomorrow at noon PST, Pacific Standard Time,
Yep.
and we'll see y'all later.
And thank you so much for Mark
Yeah,
for his
thank you,
wonderful
Mark.
work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark, the engineer, controller, our controller. All right. Good
Bye,
night, everybody
guys.
from the Mechanics Institute. See you tomorrow.